Hello and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian if you're new around here, but if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, you smashingly gorgeous sorceress of the Third Order. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments, titles, sometimes both at the start of these videos. Today we're diving into the latest massive updates to Lost Ark. I know the game isn't officially out here yet in the West at the time of this recording, but over as a part of the January update blog at playlostark.com, they've got a ton of information. Now, I like to be and go try to give you guys all the information, but if you don't want to hear my thoughts on this, you can just click the link in the description. You can go read this for yourself. But what I want to do is kind of highlight the TLDR, the real exciting stuff that stands out to me, that you hopefully will enjoy and be excited about as well, or hopefully I can explain why it's exciting. I want to highlight that as a TLDR right at the start, but as I like to do, I want to dive into the full context, the full post as well. So just note that will be happening, but we'll TLDR it first and foremost. You can go read it for yourself if you don't like my mispronunciations. I'm not trying to do it on purpose, I promise you. Just stick around for the humor and hopefully you can laugh alongside me in this case. But guys, TLDR, T3 dungeons gear are coming. The level cap actually has been increased to level 60. I think this is massive. I think this is massive for the state of Lost Ark because it is such a volume bit of content. I guess overall the community, we've been feeling like, yeah, T1, and obviously if you think of T1 and now you're hearing about T3, note that there is a progression in terms of the difficulty of the dungeons, and the raids. I'm not even reading, I'm just mispronouncing something as I speak. That there is that progression in character, gear, and difficulty. And so when Lost Ark launches here on the 8th as a part of Early Access Founders Pack, don't need to purchase it because it's free to play on the 11th. Note that there's a massive wealth of content, and there's obviously more and more content to come, aka the Korea version. Now, this does not mean that we're seeing like everything that's been in like the Russian and other versions of the game making its way on launch day here in the West, but it does mean that this game is launching as a very meaty, very feature-rich experience, especially level cap being level 60 and gear. So also additional T3 content. This isn't just day one. Additional T3 content is actually set as a part of their post-launch plans, and the blog goes to talk about when they're planning on revealing kind of their roadmap, what's it going to look like, and we're going to see that, and we'll dive into what they actually say here in a little bit. I think this is great because it also includes new regions like the Yorn region, the Felton region, and the Punkin region, and I'm probably obviously butchering those names. Welcome and subscribe if you haven't already for mispronunciations, if you shall so seem. So that's the highlight, guys. Level cap increase. T3 is actually dropping at launch. More T3 content to come later. More regions to the game itself. And I think this is something to be excited and to share about. But as I want to do, let's go ahead and dive into the full post. That way you guys can have the full context. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. But I think that's a long enough TLDR. Let's do this thing. Here's Arcacia. We are prepared to launch next month, and we wanted to spend our January update sharing some new features. Important changes we've been made alongside the Smallgate RPGs stemming from the closed beta and player feedback, and answering open questions that we've seen some players on the forums and on social media and in our Discord server. In the coming weeks, we will be sharing more information on launch details, monetization, and so much more. So let's dive into some new features. Before launch, we're going to be sharing a full list of patch notes, but we wanted to share a few planned new features that is going to be available at launch. For the Yorn region, while the closed beta allowed you to visit the Rothendel for the first time, at launch you'll be able to traverse even more of Arcacia's vast lands. The Yorn region will be open for exploration. In Yorn, you'll find yourself headed underground to the home of the Umar race, a group of dwarven people who inhabit the depths below and seemingly barren land. The Umar artisans are known for their crafty work, and be sure to take a moment to enjoy the carefully constructed architecture that has resulted from hundreds of years of building work before you get back to looking for the Ark. Yorn includes new quests, bosses, chaos dungeons, and more. For the Phaeton region, something like that. In addition to Yorn, the Covenant of the Phaeton have also been added to launch. You might find the Phaeton to be a little bit less than welcoming. The lands of this continent were poisoned during the Chain War, and the effects has continued to influence the landscape to this day. In Phaeton, the half-human, half-demon Deladins, something like that, reside, but only under a careful control of of Avesta, a powerful assassin organization. Phaeton will also introduce new quests, bosses, and chaos dungeons, and so much more. For the Punta region, another region that is not included in the closed beta test that's going to be available at launch, this is a tropical and magical and much to be explored and to experience from nature's beauty, and the festivities put on by the inhabitants. You could spend time in the vibrant and the lively Nada village, or traverse the colorful sands of Star Sand Beach, and the land may be lush, but it's out of its wildlife. Something strange seems to be happening with the creatures that inhabit this land. In addition to these quest and bosses that are releasing, you're going to find more mid and late game content to be available at launch, including the limited T3 content. Like I said, T3 content is going to be available at launch, as well as a few core T3 dungeons to support player progression, including Orpheus Wells, this is Abysmal Dungeon, Chaos Dungeon Stage 3, and the Valentios Guardian Raid. The combat, the level cap has also been increased to level 60, and additional T3 content is going to be added in the post-game launch in order to set the pace for the player progression, both in terms of new content and optimal difficulty. For Steam achievements, 173 Steam achievements will be available at the game's launch. These mirror some of the achievements you'll find in-game, although there are many more to unlock in the game as well. And character voice selection has been added, allows the players to select a voice of your character, which has 3 to 4 options to choose from. Based off of player feedback, they've added Korean voiceover DLC options. Players will now be able to select the option to use the Korean voiceover in-game along with subtitles of their choice, and this will be obtainable in a free Steam DLC pack at launch. Korean subtitles will not be available. In some of the early game cutscenes, they are now skippable. During the beta, we gathered lots of feedback from players about the early game experience, and we want to continue to the improvement of the first time experience for new players. One of the changes we made before launch was to set a number of cutscenes, with the exception of some of the important pieces of the story, that they are now skippable, even if the first time you play through them. Whether you get your fill of the story time during the beta, or you're just more interested in powering through the end of the game, this will save you a little bit of time if you wish. Balance tweaks and pacing for the game. So another huge point of the feedback is we received in the closed beta test that many players felt like some of the game's pacing and gearing was not quite as challenging enough. We are worked to make more of the balance changes to combat this, and while we won't show you down early on, the end game content will prove to be a bit more challenging for players. So for the community frequently asked questions, are the characters' stronghold and guild naming restrictions? Or what are they? The following restricted special characters, obviously, like you can see listed here, exclamation mark, @, number sign, $, etc. Capitalization letters other than the first letter of the name, and spaces are going to be restricted. How does my character name reservation and deletion work? How long after I delete a character until it's available again? Do I need to play with the character in order to reserve the name, or just create the character? So after completed the character creation process, we'll reserve the name for that character. Character names are not automatically released again after the character deletion. Releasing names for reuse is a manual process that will likely run at some point in the future, but it's not something that we expect to do on the regularity or start doing in the near future. What is the minimum and maximum number of letters that are allowed and used in a character or guild? It goes from 2 to 20. Character names are limited to 2 to 16 characters, and note that spaces, numbers, and multiple capital letters cannot be used in either guild or character names. Will character's voice selection be available at launch? And yes, you'll be able to pick between each class is going to include 3 to 4 options to choose from. So for the Founders Pack skin restrictions and questions, is it possible to stack Founders Packs for multiple rewards? Players can buy one of each of the Founders Packs, which will still stack, meaning that they will receive all the contents that they purchase in each pack. The only thing that will not stack are the 3-day head start, the Founders title, which is the same title for each pack. How will you receive your Founders Pack contents, and for what classes are they available? Founders Packs will be delivered for your product inventory, and from there, you will be able to obtain the contents that they are directly delivered to your character's inventory. Be sure to open your Northern Lawmaker or Platinum Skin chest with the character that you want to use it on, as the skin will be able to set a match for this character's class. These skins will only be usable on the 15 classes that are available at launch, so note that as new classes come in, that's not going to be something you sit on. That's not going to be applicable unless they change their mind, but I would bet that them telling us this now is an important kind of signaling. Miscellaneous gameplay questions. What if your guild leader doesn't log in for weeks? If the guild leader is not logged in after 10 days, there's a system that is used to promote the deputy of the guild to the new guild leader. Will players be able to get content or rewards from events that occurred on the Korean or Russia version over the last few years, and what were time limited? Some of these items may appear in the version of the game at various events or happenings in the future, but no committal on any specific item in that answer. Will players be able to change the font in-game? An in-game font and size cannot be changed. However, the font size of within the text chat can be changed. In the case of damage numbers being unreadable on high-resolution monitors, this is a bug, and they currently have a fix for it. Rather than having a roster based off PvP rankings, can it be character-based? And they said they don't have any plans on changing this for launch, but player feedback on the game is always welcome. So roster-based PvP rankings is how it is managed. It is not character-based. So let's look ahead. While we are known that there are tons of excitement surrounding launch day and launch day information, rest assured that we will have more details on their way for you next week. This article will include launch day instructions for players and launch server lists, information about weekly reset times, the exact server open and pre-download times, and more. Before launch, they also have plans to share additional details about Lost Ark's business model and monetization, full launch patch notes, and some information about what makes the version of the game different from other versions and more. There will also be a roadmap to share on our post-launch plans headed your way once the game is in your hands, and you'll know what to look forward to. As always, thank you so much for your support. We'll make sure that follow the social media channels at playlostark.com, blah, 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 and head out toward launch, and that's where you can find them. Of course, guys, always, the links will be in the description of this video. And at the same time, if you guys are looking for kind of a more casual style guild, something where you can kind of hop in, hop out, no real kind of commitment structure, because for me, myself, and I, as a dad and a working kind of Joe, life gets busy, right? And so we have a Discord. You're welcome to check us out. You're welcome to pop in. You're welcome to pop out. You're welcome to pop back in again. Overall, if you're looking for kind of a more relaxed, fun group to play with, that's essentially what we're trying to build here with the Discord. Links in the description if you're so curious and interested in joining in. We'll be playing and streaming Lost Ark. You can also check us out over on Twitch. Work to Game is the Twitch where I stream on Fridays. My friend Chris, he streams Monday through Thursday over there. And otherwise than that, you'll catch me just here like with a kind of a pop-in stream to kind of hang out and talk video games with you guys here on Ginger Prime. Thanks so much if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Sound off in the comments below going choo-choo, bless you, cheese balls. And that way I know you made it to the end. I know it sounds weird, but it's just something that makes me laugh. Guys, thanks for being here. Hopefully you have a fantastic day. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.
I just want to say I'm really glad you're feeling better, and I love the videos. Well, I love you too. Michelle? Shoot for the moon, and so even if you fail, you'll reach the stars. Go for the 100K subscribers. Yeah.